create and build systems using the D.M.V system. What's going on, my high vibrational individual expressions of God on earth? Let's talk about how to become a titan. So to become a titan, you must tighten. By tightening and creating a system that benefits other people the same or more than it benefits yourselves or yourself, you become a titan. So titan. We understand how to introduce speed into the matrix, ease, and results. And so for the next 3-day series that starts, when do we say? Oh yeah, tomorrow. And it's only 3 days, so it's a real short series. Get it in before the holidays. So that way you can start thinking, especially as we are moving towards the end of this year, 2023, going into 2024, you want to make sure that you have systems in place. Now, remember, I'll be talking about online systems because I'm online. The same thing works whether you do brick and mortar, whether you invest in the stock market. You want to be able to create a system. Now, when you create a system, what you're doing is you're creating something once that's going to produce residual income. That's a system. So a system is something that you create that then creates. Notice that you only create it once. You got to touch it again, that it's not a system. A system is something that you implement. Now, sure, there's maintenance, there's day-to-day, operations, but the nuts and bolts, the engine that drives or generates or creates, you want to have something that creates this residual income. And regardless of whether you're doing what I'm doing, like online systems, or whether you're doing brick and mortar, whether you get into insurance, or whether you're doing, trust funds, or whether you're buying land, or whether you are, purchasing commercial real estate, or whether you're doing, residential real estate, regardless, those are all systems. So a system is something that just produces residual income. Residual income is just something that you produce once, and it generates capital. It's how money creates or makes money. So when we look at it, especially from an investment perspective, or as a investment, advisor. So if you were an investment advisor, if you were a financial advisor, if I'm your financial advisor, if you're your own financial advisor, which at the end of the day you are, because what you're doing as your own financial advisor is you are advising yourself. You are taking advice and you're implementing it into a financial market or financial system. That system, whether we talk about wealth, health, wisdom, or relationships, is based upon 3 things. All systems are based upon these 3 things. But the problem is most people, when they invest or when they live, like when you woke up this morning, what was your intent? Did you have a destination? Do you have a map? And then you have a vehicle. Most people investment portfolio don't have that. When we look at it from an investment perspective, also from a as a spiritual advisor, because again, you're a spiritual advisor. You're also your own health advisor. And you are your own relationship consultant or advisor. So you wear multiple hats. We all do. Because we live in an environment where there's multiple frequencies, waves, and vibrations. Your job is to do not allow your own soul to get trapped inside of someone else's shell. And you become a ghost in the shell. So there's a lot of shell corporations around. But they don't look like shell corporations, as we talked about before, because most people can't see through the fluff in the mirrors. So during the next 3 days, we're going to be breaking down and how to see through the fluff in the mirrors, if you will, to make sure that you are investing your energy into yourself instead of into a shell. Most people have difficulty understanding and seeing the difference between, again, the self and the shell. There's one thing to, invest or to establish. And remember, there is no wrong and there is no right. It's just different between a shelf life and a shell life. So there's shelf companies and then there's shell companies. Each and every person on this call, hopefully you know the difference between your own self and, your own trust. Because, again, look at the word trust and the word trust, like the word titan and the word titan. Even the word Ethiopia or Ethiopian and the word ether. All of this is inside of the frequencies, the waves, and the verbs, and the vibrations. And so what I do for a living is I notice what many people fail to notice. Today we're talking about, or introducing the next series that delves into these three-stranded cords that help you understand how to build your own self, not a shell. Because there's a lot of fake and fictitious frequencies, waves, and vibrations out there that doesn't allow you to establish your own frequency, wave, and vibration. Now, this three-step system, again, is designed to help you to win because it's based upon over understanding what I've been doing for years, and that is, if you look at my MP33 catalog, inside the catalog is over 300 different books, some audio and some PDF, and some combination. Each one of those books is a separate system. Each one of them are literally a standalone system. Now, that's difficult for some to really over understand. Because if you were to over understand the statement that I just made, so you could have, and you could do the same thing. Because each one of those books, again, are standalone systems. Neither one depends upon the other to generate frequencies, waves, and vibrations. So your job is to create the same thing, to establish your own system. I highly recommend it. You don't need as many systems as I have. But I have a bunch of different systems because I know that the market changes a bunch of different ways, meaning there's a lot of, when I was thinking about my boy, Brother Jesse, when I was looking at this morning, there was a lot of truck drivers who was talking about the industry. And I remember when Brother Jesse, we was talking about him making a transition out of the trucking industry into the industry that in the sales, which is the industry that, he's in now. And it's interesting that, he made that transition at that specific time because there's a lot of benefits. Now, sure, there's benefits to staying in that industry, but there's also a lot of benefits to getting out of the industry. Because for whatever reasons, the industry is changing, just like my industry. So each and every person on this call, for the next 3 days, we're going to teach you how to tighten so you can become a titan. Like I said it again, slow. Because it's like when we look at how hooked on phonics work, if you want to, if something is tight, and if you want to tighten to become a titan. So when, to tighten something up, it's like you want to strengthen it. You want to make it really tighten comes from the word tight. So that means you want to make it fixed. You want to make it firm. You want to strengthen or move it closer together. So when we talk about the word tight, you make something, tight. That's the same thing. That's all systems start with how to understand how to make something tight. And that simply means to make it firm. Make it secure. That's that word. We broke that down yesterday. SECURE, SEE, cure, CURE. You can see how to cure it, because it's thick. You got to make it well. So when something's sick, what does it mean? It just simply means that for whatever reason we're blocking it. Because remember, now at our level where we are the observer that is observing the observer. So we're no longer part of the three-step process. We are outside of the triangle. We're no longer part of the all-seeing eye. We are above the all-seeing eye. We are the eye that's watching your third eye, that's controlling your entire light, that's creating the light inside the body. So now it's a whole other system now. So to my knowledge, nobody else, I haven't come across nothing on the internet that's teaching this particular system. Now remember, your job is not to compete. Your job is to be different. So what do we mean? Well, each and every one of us have a way by which we are designed by source to see. That's our our destination. Everybody on this call, you have your own destination. I got my destination. You got your destination. We all have a different destination that we're going on. That's a system. So systems are a way for you to see. It's your secure. It's your destination. That's the D. But now we need something that gives you unlimited motivation. Okay, that's the map. Your map gives you a lot of motivation. Why? Well, now you ain't got to make shit up. Now remember, the universe works like this. The universe, you make a destination. That simply means that you decide to tighten. You want to become a titan. That you're tightening up the screws. The good thing about that is that lets the universe know the step-by-step process. The bad thing about that is the universe may have another step-by-step process. So when you make your destination, before you establish your step-by-step process, give it a little time. For example, your destination is A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. So mine is 336. So I use my creative imagination to communicate. Well, maybe the universe, instead of the universe sending me $1,000 a day from my creative imagination that allows me to communicate that, maybe the universe wants to send me $1,000 another way. So I'm open. In other words, I don't limit source. I'm aware. Remember, I'm the observer. So I'm watching me watch. Watching is a process of securing. Securing is the process of defining, noticing. That's the destination. So when we talk about this process of observing the observer, that's the D.M.V system. The D.M.V system is set up so that way you become the titan. You become titan or tight. It's not tight like as in a tightwad with your, with your money. It's tightening your focus. It's really honing in on how you are designed to win. That's what it means by titan. So a titan becomes a titan. Like a Ethiopian is a ether that is open. Ethiopian, that's why the original people were Ethiopian. The original Bible, the oldest Bible, the best Bible, if you want to get them, is the Ethiopian Bible because it contains the ether. The ether that is open. So we could argue, but the proof is in the pudding. All of these systems are built. This is how you become a resident income, which is residual. So to produce residual income, to produce something one time and get paid for the rest of your life, you want to take your frequency, wave of vibration, whether it's paper or whether it's attention. So remember that different. Remember, we are the observer that is observing what is being observed. In other words, the observer determines what is observed. So we're not the observer. We are observing the observer who is determining what is being observed. What does that mean? That means you have just created what you have in your life. But you are observing you, creating you. Now, as the person that's no invested interest. Now you can make a decision with no emotion. Now you are Ethiopian. So Ethiopian is anyone that understands how to defeat the prince that's over the power of the ether or the air. So it's like an airplane. Airplanes, they don't use fuel. They run off the propeller or the air. There's a few videos I've seen. Just stick around, get your popcorn. You will start to see more and more evidence come out that the whole airline industry is a fraud. Remember, you heard it here first. Eventually, they're going to come out. Eventually, they got to show that airplanes, they run off the air. The power is in the air. That's free energy. The dominant culture is fighting like they killing people who try to expose the power in the air. Free energy, unlimited energy is in the air. That's how we operate. You breathe in, what happens? What are the definitions of the word power or spirit in the Bible? If you look it up in the original text, it means breath, air. The prince is over the power in the air. The power is not in the prince. So the power is in the air. That's how you become a titan. You got a titan. To become a titan, you got a titan. So your job is to get tight. To become tight. That means to nail something down. That means to exercise focus, discipline, and order. It's all of the same things that we've been talking about for eons. That I've been talking about for eons. So now you got to build a system that's tight. That means you got to study to show yourself approved. That means that you got to understand, like, remember, I'm not against no system, but I only operate inside of my God-given design, my lane. How come? I'm an expert in that. So that's why I don't invest in Bitcoin. What is it? But what is investment? What is my money? My money is my attention. My attention is my energy. My energy is my time, my focus, my discipline. So whether I can turn that into paper, okay, and I can take the paper and I can invest. Or I can take my own time, my own energy, my focus, my discipline, and my order, and I can invest that. Bam, that is how I get paid. So I tighten so I can become a titan over the ether or the air because the power is in the air. So I'm wrestling. I don't wrestle against flesh and blood. So you're not my enemy. You may want to be my enemy, but I'm not your enemy. So I'm a titan because I know how to tighten. I know how to keep things tight. Only titans understand how to tighten. To be a titan, you got to understand how to tighten. But it's not somebody else. It's you. You got to tighten your own cells. So this 3-step process is based upon your destiny. It's based upon your map. And it's based upon your vehicle. Like all the series, early registration is today, which is $197. After today starts tomorrow, which is $297. Now, what we're going to do during the series, we're going to go through each one of these 3 that's inside of the month, the day, and the year of birth. We're just going to go deeper down the rabbit trail. We've been down this rabbit trail before. But we've got to get into understanding the creative power that's found inside of the words that we use every day. Because once we understand that the power literally is within us, we don't have to go outside of ourselves. Now, we can, but we don't have to. Remember, you can, but you don't have to. The whole purpose is for everybody on this call going into 2024, that you go into 2024 with at least 1, 2, 3 online or offline systems. A job is not a system because you got to keep putting energy into it. So a system is something that you put energy into once. Walk the fuck away. Turn on the TV. Put your, get you some, chai tea. Put your feet up. Or, hey, just some cup of mushroom tea or some watermelon juice or some Java or some good H3O, whatever your cup of tea is, and count your paper as it come in. So I got 300 systems. Those are in the forms of audio books and PDF books. Each one takes somebody from point A to point B. That's a system. A system is this is a destination that I'm at. And anybody interested in going to that destination, the people say, I'm interested in losing 30 pounds in 30 days. So they don't buy my nutritional stuff. There's people that's not interested in The Ultimate Secret to Being Rich. So they don't buy my book, The Ultimate Secret to Being Rich. There's people that they're not interested in my book on clitonomics. So they don't buy my book on clitonomics. There's some people out there, they don't give a fuck about what's going on in the Vatican. So they don't buy my book, Vatican Control. There's people that don't give a shit about melanin. So they don't buy my book on black magic. There's people that don't give a fuck about the dear Canel, their destiny, and why they're here on Earth. So they don't buy my book on dear Canel reports. There's people that listen to me that don't give a about their name. So guess what? They don't buy my book on the principle of name. There's people that they don't care. They have no interest about a dilute refrigerator that builds and hosts quantum computers. They don't even know what a dilute computer or refrigerator is. So, no, they're not buying my book on refrigerator. So, I know this, though. There's people that are not interested in the esoteric meaning of the alphabet. So they're not going to buy my book on the esoteric meaning of the English alphabet. They don't even know what esoteric is. There's people that don't give a shit about the hidden science that how words create worlds. So when I make a post on TikTok about my book, which is a system that takes people from point A, I know nothing about the alphabet, esoterically, to knowing something about the alphabet, esoterically. Only people that are interested. Now, I can sell. I can get on and I can describe, which I do a little of. That's what the video is for. Because there are some people who shouldn't. Name is man, and man is name. You should know that. There are some people that should know that spiritual magnetism is produced by staying in your lane. So I have to describe it in a way that emphasizes the benefits. So that way you can see, like, damn, you know what? It's like people who have high blood pressure, they should be interested in, like, beet juice. Because beet juice opens up your arteries. It allows for diastolic pressure to flow through the veins a little bit more easily. But they don't know that. Maybe they're like me, they don't like just taking a beet out the ground and eating it. But if you juice it, maybe add a little green apple, pineapple, sweeten it up a little bit. Okay, I could take the beet juice. So one of the things that really, really helped me when I had COVID and I couldn't breathe was beet juice and colloid silver, elderberries. But what if you don't know that? And you have respiratory issues. So your job is to make sure that you talk about the benefits of your system periodically. Right? Posting, whether, again, I'm talking online. If you're not online, then it's a totally different matrix. Because if you go and you got 10 grand, you find $100,000 fourplex, you put the 10 grand into the 100K fourplex. Now, somebody got 4 units. Let's say each unit rent for $500. Let's say your monthly payment, I said 5, yeah. Your monthly payment is $1,000. You're bringing in $2,000. You get paid $1,000. I mean, $2,000 from the 4 tenants. You take $1,000 to pay off your mortgage. You put another $1,000 in your pocket. So how long can you do that before it stops? Well, unless that's an earthquake or somebody burned the unit to the ground, to infinity and beyond. That's a good investment. Why? You're creating a positive net income every 30 days. So that's what I did back in the 80s. I did that 60 times. 60. But because I was just getting smaller positive cash flow on each unit, it didn't seem like a lot. So I got my first 5, 6, 7. My family members was asking me, man, why you buying these dumps? Then I went to New Mexico and did the same thing. Bought some land, put 10 trailer homes that I got at auctions for $500. Now, I wouldn't choose to live there, but there was a lot of Native Americans that mobile home park that I created was better than living on a reservation. They loved it. They thought I was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And I had a net positive income every month. I did it once. When you talk about financial investments, when you talk about spiritual investments, when you talk about health, relationships, you got to get to the point where you notice which systems generate or take care of themselves. They're like the air, unlimited power, free energy. Those are systems. So you got to be careful of all of the shiny things. There's a lot of shiny things out there. But your destination is predetermined. So you are supposed to understand that you have a destination given to you by source, which is the month that you was born. So we're going to spend a whole day going over that. Again, because inside of the month that you was born is how you went. So I'm born on the ninth month. Again, for an example, I'm born on the 6th day because the 1 and the 5 equals 6. September is only one number. If you're born in October, that's two numbers. You got to add them together to get one number. If you're born in November, that's two numbers. You got to add them together. So November is 2. I'm born on the 15th. 1 and 5 is 6. And I'm born in the year 19 blankety blank blank. That equals the number 9. So my system is already set up for me. That's my D.M.V system. So that's what we're going to be talking about, those 3 numbers. Those 3 numbers is the key. If you can find the value. So the first problem that we have is people don't see value in themselves. Why? Well, we have a hard time understanding value because we've never used our own innate because there's so many shiny things. So we would rather study someone else's system instead of studying our own. Now, remember, I understand why. It took me 40 plus years to get to the point of seeing my own worth and my own value, especially if you are a melanated individual. We have a difficult time, an almost impossible time over understanding the esoteric meaning of the power inside of letters and numbers. We don't understand the principle of name. And so those things don't hold the celestial mechanics that unlocks the hidden supernatural power of God. Because we believe that the hidden supernatural power of God is outside of ourselves. It's very difficult, almost impossible. I said it was almost impossible for us to understand the hidden power that's inside of each and every one of us. This secret to what's called sustained fire. And why is that? Well, it's not promoted inside of the dominant culture, especially if you are Ethiopian, aka melanin, because Ethiopian is code for ether opening. We are etheric beings that have access to the oneness or the openness of the ether. Ether open. We call it Ethiopian. Just like we are Titans. But we got a Titan in order to unlock the Titan inside of us. The Titan represents what? It represents a giant. That's you. You are a spiritual giant. Now, if you're anything like me, you probably didn't grow up calling yourself or seeing yourself as a spiritual giant. You just probably think you're a regular Joe or a regular Josephine. It's hard for us to see our own worth and our value. Why? Because they keep us distracted by shiny things. So we think the worth and the value is in shiny things. So you're supposed to establish your own worth and your value, then you get the shiny things. How do we know that? Well, that's in the Bible. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added. So My worth and value does not come from my house or my convertible Corvette. My worth and value got me my house and my convertible Corvette. So you see, you are more powerful than your money. You should generate money. Money should not generate you. If you're waiting to get money to get your worth and value, you're in trouble. Because guess what? Money is an amplifier of what doesn't already exist or what does exist. So you just get exposed. The more money you have, the more exposure you have. It just exposes the negative habit pattern or the life sustaining pattern. So the goal is to establish the pattern before you get the money. But guess what happens after you get the money? After you get money, you have no discernment because you didn't have certain discernment before you got the money. So when the sharks show up, which they're going to show up, it's like putting blood in the water. It's like putting honey that's going to attract the bees. So your job is to be what? A single standing column when you're in the valley. Because then when you're on the mountaintop, you oscillate the same as when you're in the valley. Because you know that it is the external, it doesn't mean nothing to you. It's the internal. So the way I see my discernment, it operates whether I have $1 million or $1. $1 million doesn't change my brain. $1 doesn't change my brain. My brain is established by 969. So 9 for me is September, which represents total awareness. 6 represents love of details because that's how I get compassion. That's how you get it too. But most of us, we're not masters at it. I'm a master of it because I'm born. So the God that is over the deity that's over my day, the word day means deity. So my deity is the 6th ray. It's a 6th ray ether God. Each, which we will be breaking down in the series, each of the rays is a result of an ether. It's amazing. It's like when a woman is in a relationship. I can always tell when a woman is in a relationship and when she's not. With a woman that's on social media. It's a little different from a woman that's not on social media. When a woman's on social media, she's ghost when she's in a relationship. When a woman's on social media and she's not in a relationship, she's all over social media. Her images are usually a little bit more risque. That means she's taking applications. When she booed up, zing, she goes. Why? Well, her boo-boo probably don't like the fact that she's on social media, showing her goodies. So he's going to shut that shit down. That's how you know the relationship is fake. It's amazing. I watch people come and go all the time. And they say, damn, you still on Facebook posting the same shit? 20 years since Facebook started, I've been on Facebook. I ain't take no way. I say, oh, dog, I got to take a social media break. Why? Well, that means social media. Remember, whatever angers you controls you. Now, my definition of anger is different from yours because anger is just an emotion. Remember, I'm an emotional expert. I'm an emotional, intelligent guru. So nobody can out-emotion me. No one can influence me from the perspective of emotionally. In other words, you can't hype me up. You can't hype me down. You can't talk me into something. You can't talk me out of something. If I made my mind and hit somebody in the head with a baseball bat, God himself has to come down. And he has to be a very bright and a very bad God for me to put that bat down. That's the difference. That comes from years and years and years of researching myself. That's totally different from what's promoted by the dominant culture. Most people get their worth and value externally. I'm aware of it. I appreciate it. But I'm not animated or disemboweled. Ask yourself this question. Who and what can anger you? Who and what angers you? That's who controls you. That's your God. Now remember, I've been doing this for a long time. So when I get angry, and there are who's and what's that do anger me. That's why I distance myself, because I don't like being under the control of somebody else. I don't like putting my keys to somebody else's pocket. I like keeping self-control. But the Bible says the man that has self-control is stronger than a strong city. That is off the hizzle for shizzle. So that's a system. Self-control means that you are stronger than the strong city. That means that you're a bad man, my jamma. That means you got self-control. So there are a lot of strong cities or cells. You're stronger than that. So your job is what? The Bible says that you're supposed to be slow to anger, because slow to anger is better than the mighty. And he who rules his spirit is greater than he who takes a city. That's Proverbs 16:32 in the the NIV version. So I learned this a long time ago. It took me a while to figure it out, because I was aware of it, but I couldn't master it until I understood it. He who is slow to anger is better than a mighty warrior. And he who controls his temper is greater than one who conquers a city. Emotional management is the D.M.V system. People get real angry when they can't control them. Why is that? Why do people get angry when they can't control you? Because that's the indication that they can't control themselves. Why would I want to control you? When it's a full-time job, controlling myself in relationships. This is I talking to all the time. This is the key to relationships. Ether. Ether also means either. It's like ether means Ethiopian, so it's an either. Ethiopian is an either. But even Ethiopians, black people, melanated people, they don't know that the ether means either. Either way you bliss me, I'll be satisfied. So whether you pay me in $100, you pay me in $1 bills, or you give me $100 worth of pennies. That's a lot of pennies. Still $100. Either way you bless me, Lord. So it doesn't matter which way my blessing comes, as long as it comes. That's understand the Ethereum. The etheric. That's source code. That's the observer that is observing, the observer that is determining. So I'm not in the determining either way. See, you're trying to determine, not you personally, of course, but, people we know. I'm out of the control game. I used to be a control freak, man. Y'all got the best. My wife tells me this all the time. We met at the right time. But I was a nut job in my first marriage. Some would say I still am, but that's for another time. Now, I like that old saying that Bruce Lee said. Bruce Lee said, be like water. Be like water, my friend. Be like water. Why? Water always takes the path of least resistance, and water always flows downhill. Be like water, my friend. So what I use, this is why I only studied out of all of I went through, not all, but pretty much most of the fighting systems, martial arts systems back in my 20s. And the one that I fell in love with and majored in, if you will, was Aikido. Because Aikido uses your own energy. It's like judo. Aikido and judo, except judo is more grappling, it's groundwork. Aikido is more wrist bars and arm locks. I love it. So they primarily only teach it in, all the special ops and in all of the, law enforcement. They all learn Aikido because it's what they call wrist locks, joint locks. Because it takes a person's own aggression, own energy, and you mold that energy against the person. So if you lean forward, I'll pull you forward. If you lean back, I'll push you back. If you move to the right, I'll push you to the right. So I don't pull, I go with you. The path of least resistance. Be like water, my friend. Stop fighting. Whatever you resist, persist. Go with the flow. You see, it's amazing because I don't really care about your past. I don't really care about your future. I'm only invested in your present. Your present is a present. Everybody who's present today, I'm investing. So I'm not investing in the people who are not present. I'm investing in the people who are, because the present is a present. So to be a titan, you must tighten. To control the ether, you must be ether open or Ethiopian. That's why the Ethiopian Bible is the oldest Bible. That's why the Ethiopian people are the original people. You have to be Ethiopian. You need to understand Ethiopian. Because the Ethiopian is the ether. The prince is of the power of the ether opening. That's why all melanated people are demonized in this frequency. Because they contain the power. Because they're Ethiopian. So the D.M.V system is just a system that understands your destination, that controls the ether. Your motivated abilities pattern, your map that empowers the ether, and your vehicle or your narrative that allows you to step into a specific role or character that allows you to over, under, and understand speed, ease, and generating results. A system is a residual product, service, or information that is performed once and you get paid for the rest of your natural born days. Even when you transition, your offspring will benefit from your investment because it's energy. Energy cannot be destroyed. I got 300 systems. Actually, more than that. It's just 300 that I put inside of the current version of my catalog. I got to update it. Because I got so many books, I got stuff that I was forgotten about. I was like, damn, that's right, I did write that book. Let me put that in the catalog. Because what is a system? What is a D.M.V? It's a thought that's based upon an intent. So my question to you is, what are your intent? You ain't got to ask nobody. You look at the month that you was born. That's your intent. I love it because the people who don't even know it, like I was telling you guys the other day, we were talking about primarily, ladies who get unwanted attention. And it was like, I don't want that attention because they don't know what attention is. Even bad attention is good attention. Like people in Hollywood, they understand. So attention, what that mean? That means is if you got haters, you got a lot of money. Why? You know how much time it takes for you to go on my page, read my post, come up with an argument or rebuttal, and then post it. All of that energy has been deposited into me. So when somebody gives you their attention, they're giving you money. So I don't know if y'all really understand what efficient is. Now, your job is when you get it, what you're supposed to do with it. You're supposed to put it into your system. You're supposed to monetize it. So what this system is all about, the D.M.V system, is helping you understand positive and negative. It's two sides of the same coin. See, polarity is duality, but duality comes from singularity. It's your interpretation. Remember, whatever angers you controls you. Whoever angers you controls you. So can I anger you? If I can control you. You become my bitch. Now, why would you want to work for me? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm taking applications, but damn, you should put all of that time, all that energy into your own selves. Your own self. Remember we talked about at the beginning of the show. Most people invest in a shell. Most people do not invest in themselves. Every corporation is a corpse. So I don't care what corporation you're investing in, it's a fucking corpse if it doesn't belong to you. Who's the CEO? You're going to take your money and you're going to invest in, I mean, I'm not talking about paper money. I'm talking about your energy. I'm talking about your time. Now, paper money too, but paper money is a little different because, you know, you can get stock options, but it still depends upon what? Do you control it? Nah. You got a board of directors. So how can you don't build your own? I mean, not you personally, but people you know. So we're talking about what? Value. What does that mean? What does value mean? Now, we've broken down the word value before, and, you know, we can understand it from I'm going to use the word metaphysical perspective, and, you know, that's good to a certain extent. Because when we're talking about, you know, value, and we're talking about your own interpretation, the problem is your mind has been hijacked like mine. So I already know that. Since I know that my thoughts are not my own, I don't trust my own initial thought. You know what I said? Second thought generates feelings. How many Negroes you know operate from a second thought perspective? Self-observation, self-awareness, self-consciousness, the ability to gather, organize, and distribute. That's what I do for a living. That's how you build residual income. Because value is fucking vibration. But the vibration must be authentic. And the authenticity must include love. That's why authentic love is more powerful. 4,000 times more powerful than love. See, people are trying to be better and trying to be the best instead of trying to be different. See, this is accelerated attention. That's value, man. Value means you the fucking grand attractor. You are the grand attraction. It's like going to Six Flags and I see you and you are the number one attraction. Everybody want to ride. Well, that's a bad analogy, but everybody want to hang out with you. How come? You got value. See, value means you vibrating authentically in love. That makes you uniquely eternal. P-A-L-U-E. Oh, we're going to break it down on the next 3 days. That puts you in the overflow state. Now, oh yeah, your productivity and your product are the same. New level, no double. Your productivity now is your product. And your creativity is your authenticity. It's amazing to me because, like I was telling you guys, with the trucking industry, as I was going through TikTok and all of these truckers are talking about, see, they are drying up all systems that allows individuals to generate capital outside of the titty, the government. Now, as long as you're hooked on the titty, you're good. The government. But if you set up your own individual system, the dominant culture, they're trying to figure out, it's like They've been working on getting that's the whole thing up about TikTok. Them good old boys don't like it. But all systems on the internet that they can't hack and track. I ain't mad at them. They're trying to get their share of your energy. I just recommend the same way I can create 300 systems, all books. You can create 300 systems, all books. You don't need to tax my income. You can generate your own. That would be my recommendation to the government or to any other Tom, Dick, or Harry. Same way I wake up every day and generate, you can too. We all can. Or we can connect higher. Like I have my done for you system. That's the whole point. Well, to assist, because some people don't have a lot of threes in their chart. They're not naturally gifted in the area of creativity. That's okay. You just connect with, but you bring something to the table. So a system is a step-by-step structured alchemical process. That's a system. You're an expert in a topic. There is demand for that topic if you go in depth into the topic. If you can describe the topic, like I said a couple of days ago with the example, I think I used Sister Addie about coming to San Antonio. If I can describe it in enough detail, Sister Addie would come to San Antonio. Because she would want to see, hey, God said they got the Riverwalk down there. They got a Trail of Missions. There's the Alamo. They got Six Flags. They got SeaWorld. But outside of San Antonio, you can go to the brothels. You can go to Fredericksburg. You go to the Hill Country. There's a lot of things to do. Let's go check it out. But if I don't describe it in enough detail, she said, well, why should I come visit San Antonio, Texas? Well, what's there? Well, I got the Riverwalk. Where you go online, type in Riverwalk, San Antonio, Texas. And if I don't talk about anything else, she's going to leave thinking the only thing in San Antonio is a Riverwalk. But if I describe in more detail the things that exist that has quote unquote value, depending on how you look at it, that creates more of a sense of a desire. That's your job. You got a topic, you say, well, Doc, nobody's buying it. Of course not. Nobody knows nothing about it. And you can't describe it. Why? Because the topic is you. So this class is about you. I got to teach you how to describe you so that other people want to hang out with you. See, if you get attention, you're supposed to do something with it. So say, ladies, man, if you get attention, I don't care if dudes, all they see is TNA. That's awesome, ladies. Now you add value. While they looking at the TNA, talk about the value. Now, some dudes are more dense than others. But guess what happens? When all you do is talk about how you add value through your product, service, and information with your website and your cash app, guess what happens? All of them power kickers, they're going to slowly drip away. All of a sudden, they're not going to be in your DM no more. Why? Because every time they talk to you about your TNA, you give them your cash app. You give them your website. What happens? Oh, then they're going to disappear quick. Trust me. Trust me. Just try it. You got any unwanted attention. I love all the things, even my haters. I got a bunch of haters. You know what I give them? My website address. I got a bunch of websites. I just rotate them. I send them my offers and my specials. They say it's garbage, it's trash. They say you're a charlatan, you're a fucking idiot. Go kill yourself. And I just keep sending them my offers. And then what happens? Because I don't put no energy into their frequency resonance takes effect. They're on the first floor. I'm on the 10th floor. The twain shall never meet. They drift away. I don't know where the fuck they go. They just disappear. Like Puff the Magic Dragon. They just gone. If you get attention, you're supposed to provide value. That's why they're there. They don't know why they're there. They think they're there for the TNA. But they are there for your energy. They are there for your Ethiopian. Yeah, the opening in your ether. You're Ethiopian. You don't even know you're Ethiopian. If you listen to this call, you got to be Ethiopian. You got to have melanin. You got to have the lamb in, male in. The Lamb of God, laminin. That's the infrastructure that you're made up of. But guess what? That's a frequency. It's not a color. It's not biology. Your DNA and everything is activated by your resonant frequency. You see, there's a frequency, bro. If you, like Tesla said, if you could think frequency, you would own the world. Because everything in this world is a frequency. It's not a color. So I'm saying Ethiopian, you think I'm talking about shit, I ain't Ethiopian, brother. I ain't born. I ain't talking about the Ethiopian people. I'm talking about the opening in the ether. That's a fucking frequency, a wave and a vibration. But they got all us amped up. And we all believe only the black man. Well, some folks. The black is what? Black is the essence of all color. Ooh, we don't tell about I told you. Black is not a color. Black is the essence of a color. And or the inclusion of a color. So but even go look it up in Black's Law Dictionary. Remember, you got to go back to the original frequency, man, before the dominant culture made it less dominant by using wave genetics. This is a linguistical game that they plan on you to keep you lame. So we got to study you. I said every day, all day, you got to disconnect from all of the low vibrational frequencies, waves, and vibrations, and you just got to study you. What month were you born in? So if you don't know what month you're born in, which I'm being a little, far-fetched, everybody knows the month that they're born in, right? This is the month of November. And this is surprisingly, there's a lot of people born in the month of November. There's a lot of birthdays. I got two, I can remember my grandson just came into, first grandson, my daughter had a baby on the 16th. So I was doing up his numbers. Because it's short, he's born in November. Wow. But do you know the hidden esoteric meaning of the month of November? And I was breaking this out for my daughter, so she named him Jackson. So the Jackson. Thankfully, my daughter's she's been around a little bit. So 6 months ago, she said, Dad, I need you to find out that she gave me 3 names to break down the meaning of each of the names, to see which of the name was the most magnanimous, if you want to use that term. And out of the 3 names, that name, Jackson, had more of which it means God is gracious. But it's a play on the word Jackson, Jackson, but Jackson, Jackson. Says, from a spiritual perspective, so we looked it up. And I gave her the information. Then even the day that she was able to select the day, because there was induced labor and blah, blah, blah. So we looked at all of the days. What's the most beneficial day that he was born? But remember, the month was already predetermined. So when you understand the esoteric or the hidden meaning of the power inside of the month, because the month, remember, contains what we call the mass that creates the matter. That's your destination. That's why the month, like the number 11, like the 1111 portal, One of the most powerful numbers because it represents spiritual restoration, what we call success. Because it represents the awakening. It represents the culmination of one, which is leader, two, together. And when you put that 11, you add together, you get two ones. It's an extremely powerful number because number one, again, is a powerful number. But it represents the unveiling of what? The number two. And then it just keeps going. We could talk about the number, the month, but what is the point? How well do you know the month that you was born? Why? That's your destination. That's where you're going. And either you're going there consciously or you're going to end up there unconsciously, but you're still going. So, but why is that month so successful? You know what the word November means in Latin? It means Novembrus. It's like the word Novem, but Bris. It means 9. But remember, they added, like the month that I was born, Septem means 7. So we got different, because the dominant culture played around. The month of November, the reason that it's successful, because it represents an act, or it acts as a mirror. It's the number of the spiritual warrior. So if you're born in the month of November, you're born with a certain amount of energy that allows you to act in a manner that brings about protection for all the ones. The month of November, your destination, you're on this planet to provide protection. That's why you have such a big heart. That's why you can pick up so much energy. It's a stream of transition that signifies personal and psychic development for all the ones. That's everybody. So each of these numbers has a profound cosmological frequency wave of vibration that brings prosperity and peace. It's the number of 11. Passion and empathy together. One of the most powerful, if not the most powerful number on the planet. But how many people born in the month of November under, and understand their own month or their own destiny? Because the month takes you to the similar thing as what we call a map, which is number 2. The destination needs a map. But the map also needs somebody that's on that road. It needs a warrior and or a role, R-O-L-E. So those 3 words that we've been breaking down doing this system that has benefited me, because I do this every day. I'm a 969. So that means when I reverse it, I'm still a 969. So depending on the year that you was born, if you're born in November, so I'm a 9. That means so for me, it represents sophistication. Sophistication for me means simplicity. So that means I'm here to take simplicity plus number 6, which represents attention to detail, represents compassion, and represents communication. And then there's another 9, which represents awareness, because that's the number of September. So my awareness comes out. What does my discernment come from? My compassion, my attention to detail, my ability to communicate, which comes from my sophistication, which is my simplicity. So as long as I take my complicated way of thinking, because I'm very sophisticated, out of all of the frequency, waves, and vibrations of the number 9, it is not humanitarianism. The number 9 represents sophistication. Very sophisticated. But most people that are 9s, got a 9 in any one of your 3 main numbers, they don't understand the word sophistication. Because we have a dominant culture meaning. Remember, we can't get it from the dominant culture. Because they want to stay dominant. They don't want you to be dominant. So you got to understand it from a open the ether perspective. You got to become an ether opening. You got to find the opening in the ether so you can understand your sophistication. So your sophistication and being sophisticated is just an over fancy way of saying simplification. That's it. Which is another way of saying singularity or synchronicity. So by operating in singularity, synchronicity, that takes me to the sixth. Allows me to operate in compassion by paying attention to the details and then sharing those details with you, which brings about septum, which represents awareness. That's what I'm doing right now. Taking something that could be perceived as complicated, simplifying it so that way you can see it. Everybody has the same three-step process. That's your system. And then you package it into products, services, and information. But you got to know it. So this series is going deeper. It's a rehashing of an old series that we did 2 or 3 years ago on the name, niche, and narrative that's inside of everybody's D.M.V report. But the point of this series is to package it into a system. And now we've got to simplify the system even more. So we can't use a bunch of modules and a bunch of books because everybody got a 15-minute attention span now thanks to TikTok or a shorten. So that means if we notice all of my books now, my goal is to keep them under 100 pages. The goal is to take the shows and make them shorter from the perspective of, 30-day series, 60-day series, down to 7 and 3. And then even to shorten some of the messages from an hour and a half, an hour, down to 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Because we have to shorten it because of the attention span and because of the time that we're in. Because everybody's time is valuable. With that being said, we have time. All right, you guys, that's the intro. Don't forget, we'll start day 1 tomorrow. I just finished up, so I just sent out, I will be sending out the email from the previous series for everybody that paid for that. So check your email for that one, and we'll start the new series mañana. I love you. Oh, yeah, make sure you go to the website, make the payment to join the new series. It's only $197 today, and it goes to $297 mañana. God bless.